noticed, I closed both phrases out, one with a major chord, one with a minor chord, and they didn't sound too bad to your ear against that E because both E major, both E minor. Because I first played in a major mode, then I played in a minor mode, and I chose a Mixolydian for the major mode, and I chose a Aeolian sort of sound for the minor mode, and that's me being expressive. So what I want to do is cover three major points in this video, and the last one being Y modes, and the first one being the problem you have learning modes in two regards. One for guitar teachers and one for students. Earbud problems here that should have been taken care of before the damn video. Okay, getting to the point here, guitar teachers. Why do guitar teachers have trouble teaching modes? I believe that guitar teachers, in a very just normal way, think that you won't have fun with modes, you won't grasp the modes unless you get the technicalities first. And there are a lot of like little technical ways to really describe the modes and how they're different. What is a mode? It's very technical in music theory terms to describe that. And that's true. So, but the problem is guitar teachers get lost in that technicality, and I don't think they mean to. A more not so great guitar teacher could be using modes to string you along, get more lessons out of you, because you'll need to memorize all this stuff, and as you keep memorizing, we'll move on from there, because you should always move on step by step. Well, I'm not so sure about that. Hear me out on this video. And I mean, there's truth to that. You want to learn things step by step. You want to know the stuff. You want to know the technicalities. But I got a way for you to learn the technicalities that's not a whole bunch of memorization. It is the same memorization, but it's perception. How to go about this so you don't feel like it's work. So it's all easy for you. Here's the deal. Very simply, it's I'll give you the student's perspective. A student is just sitting there, and it's so easy to get lost in the technicalities and just be like, okay, wait a minute, this is sharp fourth, but wait a minute, it's a lot to remember and a lot to get confused really fast. So it's like, wait a minute, this one doesn't have the sharp fourth, but what about this? Yeah, but what about that? Yeah, but am I really in the mode because I don't, is this the scale? And then it gets really hard for somebody to, my gosh, I'm just sorry, I have ADD, and a car went by that sounds like it's got a rod knock. I was like, oh my gosh, that car sounds bad. Hope they get it fixed. Anyway, sorry. Way off the point here. Ruin the video. Anyways, the students, you are in need of having fun first. There's a lot of, as I was saying to the sentence I stopped talking at, oh my god. Like ruining my videos. Having to edit a million times. You are needing to have fun first. So once you have fun with the modes and not get lost in technicalities and all the little things you have to know, like you won't have to know this stuff. If you have fun first, the learning will come easy. For example, imagine something that was fun that you didn't really know about until you tried it. Like when you were a little innocent, fresh-minded kid that didn't know a lot about life, and you were introduced to a slide on the playground, and you looked at that thing and you thought, wow, climbing up there and sliding down looks like it was fun for the last kid that did it. I think I want to try this. So sure, you're allowed to climb up the slide, but there are some problems. I mean, if you get to the top and you don't realize you're supposed to keep hanging on, you could fall off. But what kid really interested in going down the slide that's old enough to try it is gonna just jump off from the top and not slide down the slide? Maybe some, but anyways, it was probably me. Anyways, you are gonna climb up the slide and slide down. It's not gonna happen is mom and dad aren't gonna pull you to the side of the playground in a special group of kids that are sitting down on a bench with a coach, and you're gonna sign a waiver and For the first session, they're going to go over the Newton's laws of gravity, because what goes up must come down. You should probably know this to slide down a slide, and so that you don't let go at the top. If you fall, it could get hurt. Here's 911's information. We have when if you're passed out, if all this information you don't need to know. But let's stop with the law of thermodynamics. We'll need that too, because sometimes if the sun is shining on the slide, you remember that one, right? Yeah. And then we'll need the laws of physics, because at the end of the slide, when you hit the ground, we saw Jimmy scraped up knee. He was crying over there. Apparently the slide didn't go so well for him. So you need to know about this. And no, it doesn't work like that. No, any kid and looking like that, you'd be like, hey, can we try something else? This is pretty boring now. I don't see any fun in this slide. Let's go somewhere else. So no wonder your students are like, yeah, can we do something other than modes? And you're like, yeah, but aren't you here to express yourself? And that's the final point. So for students, what they need to do is just be able to have fun quick with the modes. And all you need to do to know a mode is to turn your guitar into a modal instrument at the time. That's full expression. That gets into the last point here. Is to know that all you need when you play a scale, the 7 notes of any scale, it's not you that makes the mode. Here's the secret. Like, there's a number one secret here. It's not you that makes the mode. It's the bass player, the background chord, the keys on the piano are establishing a key. The bass note is establishing what is the center point, the what's it called? The tonic note, the focus note. There's another word for it. The tone, the Anyways, it'll come to me. Probably won't. Whatever the focal tone is, the root note of the time is what's going to create the mode. So if you're in a scale and you're playing on the very first note of the scale, that's a major scale. Meaning your solo's going all over the scale. You're playing for example, all the white keys on a piano make up a scale. So I'm going to play all the white keys right now while I play a low bass note. And if I play the low bass note while I play the keys, it'll evoke the mode that's based on that low note. You need to know the order of notes. You can write down a note here. The order is Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian, Aeolian, Locrian. You've heard it a million times, but take a note so you can always go back to the note. Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 of the 7 tones. If the bass player is on the first tone, you have your Ionian major. How did that make sense somewhat musically? Is I resolved it to the tone that was playing on the bass. I just I used my ear in a little rhythm that I made up in my head to get back to the C note. And that evoked a certain mood. Now, I can make this mood a little more sad. All the same white keys here. I didn't change one note. I played a little bit of the original to see the difference. That's how you do a mode, man. It's so easy. It's not even you that plays the mode is actually the point I was trying to make. You just play the scale. It's the background instruments that make the mode. No guitar teacher tells you this. They always explain it to you like you're playing a modal scale, like everything modal is in your head. You're in the mode. You're creating a mode. The whole band is looking at you like, whoa, modal man, where are we going now, dude? The guitar player is the king. Yeah, that's where guitar teachers may be getting lost too in this kind of thinking. But, you're a musician and you're a part of a whole band. You are part of a band, and you respond to the band, and you play along with the band, and you paint a picture over the established tones, tonal centers. That's what I was looking for before. I knew it would come to me. Tonal centers. The established tonal centers either happening most often, if not always, on the very lowest note of the certain progression. Now, sometimes there's something called a pedal tone ringing out. There'll be a higher note ringing out, like perhaps one of these. Well, I can't do that on. Let me try again. Something a little less piercing, sorry. A little bit of Aeolian there. And that works too if you have a higher note ringing out, because all your ear will select the solid tone that's ringing and base all the little bleep tones in relation to that original tone, and that relationship creates the mode. The tones are based on the chords that you harmonize out of the scale. Harmonizing means playing every other note. So playing a C, an E, and a G, and that makes a chord. And then you go up the piano, and it would be nice if I focused on my piano, but my camera capabilities are not that. My technical setup here is just not capable of doing that yet, but the piano's right here. D. Okay, so I'm getting too technical into how to play modes, but here's how to have fun on a guitar. Get a keyboard that can sustain a low note, and then pick a mode. Let's, what did you say? You said Lydian? Okay, because everyone likes that sneaky Lydian mode. Everyone wants to know what. I say the hell with Lydian. Let's try Mixolydian, okay? So all I need to know is to hold down the fourth note of the example scale. I've got a G held down, and in the key is C, G, or I'm sorry, the fifth note. Fifth is Mixolydian, my bad. I'm holding down a G, the fifth of C, and if I play in the C major scale, I can turn this into any mode, this G, just by playing a different scale. But I'm going to play the C major scale. Now that sounded weird. I just totally fucked up and played a different mode. I played an E Mixolydian over G Mixolydian. Let's see what that came out to in G. Let me map this out here. Alright, never mind. Nothing was great there. Everything was totally fucked up. Start again, right? Okay. Now I'm going to play a Mixolydian because I'm going to play a C major scale and not be an idiot. Okay, I'm going to try again and not be a retard here. Okay, so anyways. Thought something sounded wrong with that other one. It was a half note, a half step flat. Anyways, here we are on G Mixolydian, and if you watch my fingering here, I started on the pattern that your guitar teacher is teaching you as the Dorian pattern, and once you learn this as a pattern, you can't figure out how a Dorian can make Mixolydian, because that makes it way too confusing. All you need to know is I just think, the hell with Dorian, I'm just playing part of the C major scale. Based on, I'm sure you've watched my other videos by now and you know about the square, and I know where to put the square, and here we go. Yeah, so I threw in some whammy bar tricks just to, give your ear something even more to grab onto and create a little extra tension into some notes that are, had their own little bits of tension. But anyways, you heard something that didn't sound quite as majory as a major scale. It's like G major. Very congruent scale. The Mixolydian is breaking apart a bit. starting to turn into minor, but it still has a major third. So but see, that's stuff you don't need to know. But this is maybe gets to a point here. You'll learn all that stuff. You'll know all that stuff once you can sit there and have modal fun and make sure you can play it. So get something that can play a low sustain note. Like all I have is a keyboard here. I even wired up my own foot switch. So I press a little button here after I press a note here, and I'll get an F note and play some F Lydian by playing the exact same Dorian shape I did, because if I play a low F note, that creates the Lydian mode instead of a Mixolydian mode. Let's hear it. And what I did is I really accentuated that mode by playing the one note that makes that mode what it is. And you can learn that with your ear. You can start to look at that as an interval, see where it is on the square, know which interval it is, and all that jazz. And that was that sharp fourth they always tell you about. And now that doesn't... Now see how I play it alone with no note? Now you know why just sitting there soloing around only grabs people's attention for about 30 seconds. Because it sounds like, hey, that guy knows what he's doing. Then that's it. The ear has no basis to attach all those notes to, and there are 7 possibilities. It's probably going to hear it since you started on what? The F. And it's that Dorian kind of shape, which is based on a pentatonic box, which usually sounds minor. People are probably going to pick up that's a little minor, but like I said, it could have actually been... Could have been a little happy sounding, right? Could have been really happy sounding. Could have been pretty wicked sounding. That's all the same little bit of a scale I just played, but it sounded different every time because the root note was different. So do you get it now that you aren't playing modes, it's the background band, and most teachers are just pumping you full of a whole bunch of technicalities that keep you back. Now, why would you want to learn modes is the final point here. Just going to wrap this video up. Thank you if you made it this far. Why would you want to learn modes? I think you get it this far. Is that you have 7 expressions available. Instead of just knowing major and minor, those are 2 expressions. You have 5 more available to make 7 expressions on the guitar. Expressions. Expressing yourself. Isn't that what you really came here to do? Why do you really have this guitar? Probably a little bit to, get a girlfriend and play a cool Rush song and be able to play just like Jimmy Page on one song and then Alex Lifeson and David Gilmour on another song. And everybody else that you love. Dimebag Darrell. I can't play any of that. You like all those people and you want to sound like them, sure, but then eventually you're like, okay, I learned their stuff, but how do they make their stuff? How does Eric Johnson become Eric Johnson? How come I can't be an Eric Johnson? Isn't that kind of what I thought I would do? Picking up the guitar, learning all these people's songs. Great to learn other people's songs. Gets that flow to your fingers. Gets a lot of cool riffs under your fingers and can start helping you learn that way. But I never learned any music. I only learned how to parrot other guitarists by doing that, and I spent way too many years of my life just being entertained because it was so entertaining, just learning a new Van Halen song and learning some Rush and learning some Pink Floyd. And then playing them over and over and over. It's just tons of fun. Look at me, but in the end, it's like, where's your original music? And you're like, well, I don't know how to make any original music. I never thought of that. So, you are here to express yourself on this instrument. You want to master this whole thing so you have a complete voice. You want to be able to talk and a shout and a whisper. You want to be able to enunciate all your words better than I do on this video, right? And that's your freedom of expression there on the guitar, and then you master your major scale to do it all on the entire fretboard, and you've unlocked 7 moods on the guitar. As a final point, I'll leave you with a little bit of a conspiracy theory, just a random thing I can't prove here, but modes. Yeah, you can describe these separate factions of a major scale as a separate mode. Sure, that does make sense. But also think about this. Add another O to that mood. It's a mood. 7 moods of the major scale. Doesn't it make sense now? What are the moods? Let me give you a quick final note to wrap up on now that we know that modes are moods. Did the translation, this was the theory part of it, did the conspiracy theory part of it, did the translation, eventually, did the sounding not translate right over the ages from, the initial Greeks that made this up? Were they not really modes, but moods, perhaps? Maybe that's kind of a secret, so you don't tap in, and a lot of other guitarists will rise to the top that realize this information. So, with moods, do you want to be able to create a mood on your guitar? You use one of those 7 moods. Oh, and the final point here. Take this down as a note, and we'll wrap this video up for today. That is I gave you the tonal order of modes. That's important to know, so you can always know what mode you're in. 7 notes of the major scale: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian, Aeolian, Locrian. Write those down in that order. But then know the mood order of these modes, so that once you learn how to create modes, you're like, oh, okay, play this note, play this scale, got it. Once you know that bit of information, and watch my other videos for how to do that really fast. Once you know that information, then you know how to... Oh my god, I just lost my point. God damn it, I knew I'd have to edit this video. Son of a bitch. Well, how about any money lick just to get my thought back there? And it did. It worked. Here we go. Hope you didn't mind that just brain fart there. I'm glad you made it this long into the video. Leave you with this today. Write down the mood order of the modes. You're probably shouting at your screen, mood order, dude. Get to the mood order. What the fuck? Sorry. Just play my videos at twice the speed. Anyways. Mood order. Write this down. Number 1, the brightest scale. We're going to go from brightest to darkest, first of all. That's our mood order here. What is the brightest scale? Write down number 1, Lydian, is a little bit floatier. It rises a little higher than the next scale, the major scale, which is Ionian. Your regular major, that's like regular happy. Well, there's one just a little bit airier than that. A little bit. And why? It has a sharp 4th. The 4th is raised higher. This scale sounds like it floats a little higher than Ionian. Ionian is your regular happy birthday, almost every song you hear on the radio. And, well, not almost every, but every happy song you hear on the radio. And, Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, Mary Had a Little Lamb, all that jazz. Major scale. Pretty regular, pretty happy. Then you have Mixolydian, which is, of course, a ton of songs, but maybe a lot of your favorite artist songs. Like a lot of Jerry Garcia is said to, he's dead songs have a kind of a Mixolydian vibe during the solo and stuff like that. Well, Mixolydian is a little bit it's fallen apart. It just adds a touch of melancholy, so you can just put like happy with a twist next to your mood note when you write down Mixolydian. So back to the top of the list: 1, 2, and 3: Lydian, Ionian, Mixolydian. Those are your 3 major ones. Right from Mixolydian, we break into the minor modes, the 3 minor modes that are left. We have Dorian, Aeolian, and Phrygian, and it's in that order. Dorian is the first on the list because Dorian is minor, but it's like a bittersweet minor. It's got a little tinge of more, it's got more melancholy, a little bit more, it's a little like a sweeter sadness than straight up Aeolian, the next on the list, which is your general Sirius scale, your Stairway to Heaven solo scale, your to the point scale, a lot of your Pink Floyd and Rush scales, but not all of them. Don't get me wrong there. But your serious scale, anything that's got a drive and is to the point and a little bit on the darker side, not a happy scale at all, is Aeolian usually. And then we have a final one on the list, and I'll tell you why it's final in a second, even though there's one more mode left after this. Our final of the most popular modes, the Phrygian mode, is going to give you that minor sound plus that extra kind of like a Latin vibe, some say. You can even think of it as an Egyptian vibe, some kind of otherworldly vibe there. Let's see if I can evoke that here on the fretboard here. I think it's that. Instead of this. That sounds a little easier to the scale. Well, this is your Aeolian interval. And see how confusing that sounds? Aeolian interval? Wait, what did you say? You'll learn that when you learn modes. You'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. Just start having fun with them. And listen to them. That definitely sounds like more danger than this. And that more dangerous interval is found in that Phrygian scale. And that's what makes it the most serious of all. So finally, there is a last scale that's not used very much. I believe there's a Metallica song I can't name, perhaps on the Black Album, though I think it is, that's in the Locrian mode. And Locrian is based, first of all, it's because the chord it's based on is not major or minor like all the other modes. It's the only diminished chord in the scale group, in the harmonized major scale, which it's the last one before the, see, even my phone agrees. It's the last one before the Ionian. It's the B before the C. It's got a diminished chord, and that diminished chord creates a perplexed, confused, doesn't know where it is chord. And if that's the mood of your song, then you can use that mode. So a lot of people tell you, don't worry about the Locrian, you don't use it, don't waste your time. So it kind of works like that, yeah, because if you want to learn modes, just kind of make it easy, start with a 6. You're probably not going to be composing with Locrian until you get those all under your fingertips and they become moods to you, and you become a creator, you become an expressionist on your instrument, and then you might say, I need something a little more perplexed sounding in this part. There you go with you need something that's just about to get to home base, but it's just before, it's got so much tension, it just needs resolve. Locrian, my friends, Locrian. Okay, I'm going to leave you with that today. What do we got? 20 and a half hour video. Oh my God, I hope any of you made it this long. I appreciate it if you did, and we'll see you soon. Have a great day and thank you for coming to Mark's Graph Paper Method. Thank you for watching, and please, please, please subscribe. Have a great day.